During the 1980s, Central America experienced military conflict and civil unrest. Many of the countries in Central America waged in low-intensity conflict wars, entailing the use of small-scale guerrilla warfare tactics. Anti-personnel landmines and unexploded ordnance, known as UXOs, were common and widely used in the conflicts of El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Guatemala. Landmines are still found on the borders of Honduras, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica. The Central American region has attained peace. Since the mid-1980s, the Central American states, with support from the international community, promoted health as a bridge for peace. It was during this period that fighting factions turned in their arms to take up syringes and vaccinate children against preventable diseases. In spite of the tremendous achievements, several thousand anti-personnel landmines still remain in existence in the Isthmus. International efforts channeled through the Organization of American States have been dedicated to mine clearance in the region and hope to achieve mine-free status by the year 2000. Unfortunately, landmines continue to exist after many years of peace. Hurricane Mitch resurfaced a piece of history that was relatively controlled and forgotten. Mines were dislodged by floods and mudslides along the border of Nicaragua and Honduras. The memories and continuing threat of landmines linger, and the aspiration of attaining a mine-free region will have to be delayed until roughly 2005. The legacy of civil war left the region littered with anti-personnel landmines and UXOs. 73,000 mines still remain in Nicaragua. 5,000 to 8,000 mines and other explosives continue to exist in Guatemala. 2,000 mines remain in Honduras, and fewer than 1,000 still remain along the borders of Costa Rica and Nicaragua. Prior to Mitch, but even more so after the hurricane, many people, mostly the youth and farmers, have fallen prey to landmines that have been unearthed by the storm, especially in Honduras and Nicaragua. Terrified and not knowing where their next step will be, many fear that they will become detectors that mark the location of the next landmine. Carrying out everyday activities becomes a daunting and precarious task. Landmines cause not only severe injuries, but the dirt and contamination that penetrate the wound pose a particular problem for victims. Most victims are not inoculated against tetanus. The need to replace blood lost in landmine injuries frequently drains blood bank supplies. Many hospital resources are compromised, and full laboratory services to control blood quality are inadequate. Blood transfusions require a full laboratory service in order to screen for infectious diseases. Injuries from anti-personnel landmines often result in amputations, blindness, as well as other injuries. These disabilities add to the economic burden of families. Rehabilitation places heavy demands and economic constraints on family and society. Providing prosthetics is very costly, and many families go into debt paying for medical services due to landmine injuries. The loss of productivity in these agrarian societies contributes to the economic instability of the countries. In addition to physical trauma, many victims undergo psychological trauma, and many societies overlook the psychological needs of the victim. Misconceptions about the capabilities of people with disabilities are quite common, and in many cases, the victims are stigmatized into a life of begging and shunned by society. Accurate statistics for post-war rehabilitation are often lacking or difficult to obtain. This complicates the efforts for assessing the magnitude of landmine-related injuries. Most landmine injuries occur in rural areas, and the data is difficult to collect due to inadequate resources. In January 1996, Canada took a leadership role in calling for a complete ban on anti-personnel landmines and began working in partnership with a global coalition of like-minded states, international organizations, United Nations agencies, and NGOs, including the International Campaign to Ban Landmines, all in a worldwide effort to ban mines. The Convention on the Prohibition of the Use, Stockpiling, Production, and Transfer of Anti-Personnel Mines and on their destruction, known as the Ottawa Convention, signed and ratified by several countries such as Canada and Mexico, demonstrates a firm commitment.
We work well with Mexico in numerous areas. Mexico is, of course, a NAFTA partner as well, and we are great believers in using institutions, particularly regional institutions, to their fullest capacity. We are members of these institutions and we should really use them. And in the case of PAHO, it is all about rehabilitation and moving mining and demining into the next phase.
To demonstrate their commitment and endorsement of the Ottawa Convention, the governments of Mexico and Canada indicated their willingness to collaborate with the Central American countries to assess the magnitude of landmine-related injuries and rehabilitation services in El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Mexico and Canada requested the support of the Pan American Health Organization, the specialized health agency of the Organization of American States, and the regional office of the World Health Organization to identify technical cooperation activities. In collaboration with the Central American countries, Canada, Mexico, and the Pan American Health Organization have developed an initiative for comprehensive rehabilitation for landmine survivors.
Nos ha parecido, tanto a México como a Canadá, que es una prioridad avanzar en nuestra propia región, invitando a los gobiernos que aún no lo han hecho a que ratifiquen esta convención. Habría que destacar en ese sentido de que son todos los países, todos los estados de nuestro continente que han sido invitados a participar en el seminario que tiene lugar en México y que al mismo tiempo esta iniciativa sobre rehabilitación en el ámbito centroamericano pues podrá ser un modelo muy importante para otras regiones.
The framework for action of the tripartite mission includes gathering data to define the magnitude of landmine-related incidents and establish a target population, strengthening the capacity of health services and existing programs to encompass an integral approach towards rehabilitation, increasing public awareness of the continuing dangers of landmines and other unexploded ordnance, strengthening and improving social and vocational integration and reintegration programs for persons with disabilities. Within the framework for action, specific components are designed to integrate community-based rehabilitation interventions into the networks of primary care services, strengthening prosthetic and orthotic services, promoting employment and economic reintegration, and developing health information systems in order to support landmine survivors. The Canadian International Agency for Development, through its Mine Action Unit, has provided funding for $3.5 million Canadian dollars for 5 years to the Tripartite Initiative. Canada, Mexico, and the Pan American Health Organization will establish technical cooperation agreements among the Central American countries and develop work plans with national counterparts to strengthen and advance implementation of joint plans of action. The Government of Canada, through the Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, and the Canadian International Development Agency's Mine Action Unit, with cooperation from Canadian institutions, will collaborate in this effort to work closely in the delivery of the initiative. The Mexican government, through the Mexican Institute of International Cooperation, will engage the services of various Mexican institutions to work together by committing and providing in-kind resources and technical assistance. The Pan American Health Organization, through its Division of Health Systems and Services Development and its Program of Disability Prevention and Rehabilitation, will serve as the secretariat for this initiative. The Pan American Health Organization will support the countries of El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua by relocating its Program of Disability Prevention and Rehabilitation to Nicaragua to further the initiative.
It is an honor for the Pan American Health Organization to participate with these two countries in any program that has to do with reducing the impact of landmines, both reducing the possibility of them being dispersed and also reducing the possibility that the persons damaged by landmines may remain affected all of their lives. So for us as a health organization, one of our major concerns is the rehabilitation of those persons affected by landmines and the reincorporation of such persons back into the society.
The Tripartite Alliance of Canada, Mexico, and the Pan American Health Organization faces the challenge of maximizing cooperation among donors and non-governmental organizations to map the needs of those who have been affected by armed conflict, especially those who have been affected by anti-personnel landmines. We must enhance our work together as a global community to improve linkages and ensure proper coordination and cooperation among donors, international and non-governmental organizations, and mine-affected states to provide support for humanitarian landmine victim assistance and the reintegration and promotion of sustainable livelihoods. The importance of building a deeper commitment to bilateral and multilateral cooperation is a unique opportunity to demonstrate and to promote the efforts of the Tripartite Alliance. By doing so, we hope to impel other donors from the international community to take an active role in mobilizing resources to support countries affected by landmines.